This is our
So this is
commentary.
What'd you say?
So this is our DVD commentary.
Yeah, this is the extended cut. This is a quote I have in the chat. Is in the beginning I chose existence. Now it is time to appreciate it. That's the word of the day. That's the word on the street. Is fucking appreciate, and it's very fascinating that now we have in the midst. So we've already listened to the voice messages surrounding this. In the midst of all those other voice messages we just listened to, like so the one before it, just to give people context.
One of the things then, we're talking about reality. I was in my backyard. I was looking at a tree, and I was like, it's just a tree is like perfect visual description of the non-dual universe of just imagine each unit.
So that was the one that was right before I say, in the beginning I chose existence. Now is time to appreciate it. So there we go. We have a straight up appreciation name drop. So I'm now referencing future me. And so then this is the thing we were talking about whenever I was trying to go back, because we were talking about, yeah, these are the people we have to convince. You sent a screenshot of a comment that says, I am so disturbed by Will's actions that my heart tightens and pounds in grief each time I think about it. Searching YouTube daily to see how Chris is doing. Glad to hear his brother, in parentheses S, has his back. Huge props to Chris. The world applaud your act of self-constraint at a very difficult moment in time. We are defined by our choices. You proved to be the real man at what had to have been one of your most challenging moments. You absorbed the punch. That's just okay. Now we're just in schizophrenic levels of absorb the punches, the absorb the punch framework. I mean, I guess we've said so many words for the past couple of days. It's kind of inevitable that some of them are, but I do feel like that's a little strange. God bless and keep you and yours. You say what a reasonable use of emotions, and then here's where we were going back and forth of.
More direct. So the other thing that one. It's just like these are the kind of people that we have to try and convince. More direct.
Something interesting. Just to tie into that thing I said earlier about conservatives talking about, like, you know, if the libtards didn't have enough time. I saw on the comments of an Instagram reel today, there was this kid on a bike. He had like a bike with no pedals, and he was like 3 or 4 years old or whatever. And he just like rode around real fast. He was like drifting and shit, and it was cool. It was just like I saved the post because I thought it's like this is a fantastic encapsulation of like childhood joy, like that feeling when you're fucking 5 years old and you're just like drifting and skirting around on a bike in your backyard, and you got your big fucking dog chasing you around. Like the world is still just all whimsical and ramps and fucking you know, just the whole world's a playground. And I go to the comments expecting to see like maybe people make fun of him or the same thing I thought. And what I see instead is a million different forms of, I bet this boy ain't gonna think he's a girl. I bet this little guy ain't gonna put no panties on. This boy ain't gonna be confused about his gender. This boy ain't never gonna grow his hair out and say he's a girl. Like just like a billion different fucking ways of the exact same comment. That's like because he rode a bike when he was like 4, he's not going to be transgender. I was like, I don't think that's how that works, but what do I know? I guess
I would love to see the studies on it.
Sociological framework of thrashing on specific is the whole thing of the Will Smith situation, because just seeing how like people are like at some level like actually affected by this, like that real people on real life TV did violence, kind of like that.
Oh, that was like the Will Smith punch. Jesus, yeah, that is disturbing.
Oh, I was wondering which Will and Chris was we talking about.
People are fighting in wars.
What is it?
I was wondering which Will and Chris we were talking about.
Yeah, me too. I had no clue what this was about, but yeah, that is a disturbing level, as that man would say. I am so disturbed by Will's actions. That is a horrific level of emotion to be distributing to that situation.
So I think we're like just have their worldview shattered. That these actors would like do something so physically aggressive. So interesting. Our society is just at that level. We could be doing so much. We as a society could be doing so much, and on what's most people's minds, you know, is something silly like that. We traveling to other dimensions. And Will Smith didn't get his Oscar. Oh no! This girl, who also is like a non-dualist and also does stuff on and also can do the arm trick. The one I met at the party, the one who's like, you know, bizarrely similar to me in every possible way. She hijacked, like my method of being schizophrenic. Is this so crazy?
That was funny. This chick who literally could do all of that. That was insane. There was a girl who was like basically straight up non-duelist. Had done sub 1 and could also do the jump rope with her arms that I just met at a fucking like park bench in Kentucky. Hijacked one of my stories, which was hilarious, but we never talked after that, sadly.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that. Yeah, that was insane. I thought it was at a party.
It was a party, but the party was like a shitty. That's what I mean by like a park bench. Is it was like it wasn't a party as in like 100 people in a house with music playing. It was a party as in like 16 people crowded around a fucking roof with park benches under it. Like
Yeah.
and it's like because that's the equivalent of a party in Kentucky. And it's like the fact that I met someone like that in just like what like I've met like 4 people in the last 5 years. Like what the hell are the odds of meeting that specific of a person? You know what I mean? It's just like that's just ridiculous. Oh, Voxer, you goose. It put me out again, so we're scrolling up again. Silly little goober. You watch any Fish Tank?
A few clips here and there, but not really. Like, is there any way to, like, is you just click on random ones, or is there any way to watch it chronologically?
No, I wouldn't worry about watching it chronologically. I would just worry about clicking on the ones that are most entertaining and clicking off the ones that aren't, because there are a lot of ones this season that are not entertaining at all. Like the first 9 days, I didn't watch it all. I didn't watch any of them. I went back and then thought about watching them, and then didn't because they were garbage. There's no point watching the first 9 days. Other than like there was one girl, Summer. She was kind of entertaining because she was like actually one of the most insane people like ever. Like it's possible to be. And she was on the show, and then like literally, I'm pretty sure they just kicked her off because she was like a liability. Like she was actually like dangerously mentally ill. Like she was horrific. Like I would be scared to be around that woman.
He picked him right.
Yeah, but so this season his thing is that he picked a bunch of Sam Hyde fans. So he only picked people who knew what like the Fish Tank was. So basically the reason he did that is, so, in my opinion, so he can torture them as much as he wants, because it's like, oh well, you guys knew what you were in for. Like you can't say you didn't know what was gonna happen.
Yeah.
And so he's like actually like torturing these people, like legitimately what he did to this one guy. Do you want spoilers?
I'm sure.
Like, do you want me to like tone back? Do you want like a certain percentage of spoilers? Or do you want
do it enough where like when I watch it, it'll even be more surprising, or it'll be a good teaser trailer.
Okay, I'll try and do that. There's this guy that Sam picks as like an unconfident guy that he decides he's gonna like bend the whole show kind of temporarily around just bullying this person, and he's doing it like Sub 1 would do it. So like he's intentionally doing it with a message, like he's trying to drill this message into this kid's brain, which is like, I want you to stop thinking about everything so much and start acting. Like he literally has a conversation with him where he's like, I think when you get in these situations, you need to act with your animal brain, and you need to stop thinking about other people's intentions. Like he literally word for word says that. And when you understand the circumstances that led up to that, you understand it's like, it's literally, I mean, the season literally feels like if Sam Hyde was given the powers of Sub 1 and then he had a house full of people that he could just enact it upon. Like it's absurd. Like it's literally Sam Hyde like gaslighting and manipulating people into like the most absurd positions ever, but he's doing it specifically to actually try and make them grow as a person. And like his weird Sam Hyde way of like bullying you, but like bullying you on an aspect that he genuinely wants you to change because he thinks it will make you a better, more functional person. So it's just like weird levels of like, this is actually insane that you can get away with doing this to a person, but then simultaneously, like, I mean, it feels good-hearted in the way that Sam Hyde can be good-hearted. So it's weird. It's a weird season, but it's some moments have been just unbelievable. Just like last season, where it was like a lot of that was obviously boring goy slop, but then there was just these few moments that made it where it's like these are better moments than you get in like the average fucking like 4-season show. So like what you should look for there is you should look for these videos called TJ Attic Meeting. And then you should try and just figure out everything surrounding that. So like the lead up to that is good. The things that happened after that, the 2 days that have things that happened after that. These is all the last week. All this TJ shit happened the last week. So the summer shit's good. The TJ shit good. There was a bit with a bitch where she got her hair cut off, and then Sam Hyde messed with her. That was funny. And that's about it. Like you don't really want to focus. Oh yeah, there's a Japanese guy who's like everyone loves him, and he was apparently like a prostitute, a male prostitute in Japan. So like that's funny. But then other than that, he's just like completely normal. There's another guy called Jimmy. Yeah, he's kind of funny. Jimmy's like like another like mentally ill person who's like you have to be a little worried to be around this guy. And Sam Hyde's also doing things to him that are like concerning, like lawsuit wise. Like I hope Sam Hyde doesn't get like arrested for this shit. Like he's taking a man who's like clearly mentally unwell, and then he's like putting a bag around his face because he made the other cast members vote on whether or not he should be like put a gag of silence on him. And it's just like that's insane. That's like stuff they would do in like the Stanford prisoner experiment. Like what are we doing? Oh my god.
It feels like rated R Office.
Yeah, seriously. Like the first season of The Office, if it was actually happening to people and malicious, oh, it's brutal. It's brutal. Like some of it, like some of this season, the last season was a lot easier to watch as far as like last season was kind of wholesome. None, like this season is not wholesome at all. Everyone is like on their fucking toes. And like I said, this one feels like a bad sub one trip if you were able to watch what it felt like in someone else's mind. Like it's absurd.
Sam Hyde's been manifesting this godlike power for the last decade of his life.
He really has. And the whole time he's doing a New Orleans accent. So he was like, oh, come on now, boy. You need to get up now, boy. You need, and he's just like doing that while like psychologically torturing these people.
Has he ever talked about like his actual thoughts on this show? Like, is he just having like, yeah, this is the most fun I've ever had in my entire life?
Not anything like that, but like he's still friends with like, in other words, like there are people like Josie, if you remember that girl from the first season, and Vance from the first season, they still like they're in Fish Tank season 2 as like people who fuck with the contestants. So like,
yeah, that's awesome. That's like old cameos.
Yeah, like you graduated, like you made it through the season of Fish Tank, and now you get to come back and haze the newcomers. And so like now Sam is literally friends with those people who he used to torture. So I mean, obviously, like he doesn't have any hard feelings towards the people he's torturing, and you can see that in some of those moments, even this season, where it's like sometimes he literally like feels bad. You can see him sometimes in the moments of this season. You can see him feel bad about what he's doing, like off camera, or like in moments where like they can't see, or like sometimes even when they can see, because he feels that bad. And it's like all of that is even like funnier and more interesting to see. It's fascinating. But like I said, very, very uncomfortable. This one has so much more Office vibes, where it's like it's actually like you know, you watch Office season 1 and then you like physically cringe and recoil and reach for the power off TV button. Like that is what this season makes you want to do a lot of the time, if not like nail biting on the edge of your seat. Like, oh my god, how the fuck is this legally possible? Like literally, dude, there have been times this season where I literally am thinking to myself, this person is going to have lasting psychological damage. Like I'm not kidding. Like I seriously think this person will not be able to interact with other people ever again in the same way in their entire life. They're going to be permanently traumatized in the way that they interact with other human beings until the day that they die because of what's happened in the Fish Tank. Like I'm not kidding. That's the level of shit Sam's gone to this season. It's crazy.
You take a little bit of Fish Tank with you.
Yeah, I absolutely, bro. Yeah, IW, you take a bite of the peach bites back. Fucking, you take a bite of Fish Tank. Fish Tank fucking takes.
Oh, imagine you got IDubbbz on Fish Tank.
That would literally be like, I'm sure that is IDubbbz hell. Like if IDubbbz died and went to hell right now, it would be Sam Hyde forcing him into Fish Tank.
He dies and you see the Gold Striker talk to him.
Yeah, the Jebediah fucking Gold Striker, the New Orleans accent. Come on now, boy. Climb up them stairs now, boy. Just a stairway to heaven now, boy. Oh my god. That would be fucking brutal. Brutal. Especially because if that quote Sam said about IDubbbz is true, which is that apparently IDubbbz said, I'm usually the puppet master in these kinds of situations. Like that literally would be hell for IDubbbz. Like Sam telling him the most insane shit, trying to like gaslight him into believing things that are not true, and him always trying to like outsmart him. And like that's exactly what Sam wants. That's like fucking Sam fainting in boxing. You know what I mean? That's like the worst thing you can do is bite on a feint. The worst thing you can do with Sam is believe what he's telling you, or even worse, not believe what he's telling you directly and try and figure out what he is instead of just like going with whatever the fuck is happening. Like Jesus. I mean, that literally would be like iDubbbz hell. He'd be stuck in like, dude, it's funny. It's like exactly what it's exactly what Sam's trying to teach that TJ guy, which is like, stop thinking so hard, start acting. Like that would be iDubbbz hell. Is Sam just trying to drill that lesson in his head for eternity? Brutal.
I would want to see Sam dress up as the green guy and make fun of him with that suit on.
Oh, that would be incredible. That would be incredible.
Taunting him in his own language.
Jesus Christ. And then, like, did you see the picture of all the fucking boys? I don't know what the context is. Maybe speaking under my ass, maybe like they would have taken a picture if I could have gotten a flight or whatever. But there was a picture of like Anything for Views, Max Mofo, and Joji standing together after a Joji concert, and iDubbbz just wasn't there. And it's like, yeah, what a cuck. And it's like imagining like Filthy Frank teaming up with fucking Sam Hyde. Now this is just this. Honestly, what's funny is I'll listen back to this in 5 years, and I'll think it's horrifically cringe that these words ever came out of my mouth. But I stand by it right now. That is that imagining what that would actually, imagining if I could pay a certain amount of money to watch, iDubbbz hallucinating his own hell, like giving him enough sub 1 and then watching his brain scans and watching Sam Hyde and Filthy Frank team up to psychologically destroy him. That would be fun to watch.
Imagine whenever you die, you get to become the sub 1 operator and you get to pull the pranks.
You know, in a way, you dissolve back into the pool of consciousness, as I used to say.
That's not me too.
That was like the very first iteration. That was like literal post sub 1. I was talking about like the Great Well of Consciousness.
I heard that one.
That was like literally God Mark 1. Oh, I'll be right back. I gotta piss. Howdy. You remember us talking about you and Ryan asking me, specifically you though, asking me like how does the distribution system work? Like, is there a certain quantity of water in the Great Well of Consciousness? And me talking about like, I mean, technically sure, but like from our perspective, there would be an infinite amount. That's interesting to think about. Like what we're talking about there is like the literal nature of God. Like that was us at like 16. That would have been like 15, right? Like for the first time ever in our lives thinking about it and talking about like the nature of God is like infinity unfolding and like how from our perspective it's ungraspable.
You did sub 1 for the first time when I was actually yeah, it might have been 15, like the month I would have turned 16 around that time.
So yeah, so I would have been 15 at that point in time talking about the Great Well of Consciousness.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Setting records.
Okay. I what you're saying. Recently I've been like
So yeah, and then we have the okay. So
it's hilarious. It's just absolutely it makes you so funny. I kind of want to just like go full go. Like imagine I fully betray you. I'm like, Doc, I think Ashton's like going insane. I'm concerned for his well-being. I think me and you, we need to get him out of this. I think I've known him for what is this? It's 18 years of my life now, and I think for his own best, so we give him the help he needs. I think that'd be fun. But yeah, I think but like it's like I should act as translator here because I can read both what you're saying and what he's saying, and I am both neither him or you. So I think I can be able to like translate what you mean
that is literally,
and versus what you're
that's
saying
the message
and
that I
what
said you were the perfect
what you're saying.
translator.
Oh, that was fucking good. All right, so your entire premise. While I see that, I would say.
So,
it's true. Yeah.
so I typed up this response. I said, so apparently this is a response I was hypothetically aiming at Jacques. I said, by all means, brother, but I would most definitely say unrealistic levels of confidence is the most efficient route to success in any field, which can also be proven through psychological surveys of the most successful stratosphere of people in each profession. Nietzsche will also talk about this. Would you say there is a practical case in which softness is more effective? Because I would say it only makes you more likely to be trampled on by someone who's wrong, which is worse for the world.
Your entire premise is true if practicality and effectiveness is the basis of reality. I don't think Jacques sees it that way. So when you try and base your argument based on practicality, it's like it does not work for him. It's not his art. It's not going to work for him. I think there's another way to say it. While I see that, I would say I need him to admit that. I need him to say to me practicality. Basically, what I'm doing right now is I'm backing him into a corner where he's going to need to eventually say, I'm not speaking about practicality. I'm speaking about an emotional level. And at that point, that's vanquishment, really. I mean, it's like I don't really feel any need to push past that. You can be a bridge from that point. But as soon as I get that confirmation, it's like mind is the sharper sword. I think there's a better way to do that. That does not. If you're trying to convince him, persuade him to think that this is the way to do it, that what I'm doing is the best way. I don't know if what I'm reading in that paragraph does that in the way it could. There's a hypothetical way that you could. No. Absolutely, you're most definitely right. I am not doing it in the best way to convert him to my side. I am specifically trying to make him my enemy, not in a personal sense, but in a philosophical sense. No, this is combat. He's engaged as soon as he engaged with that premise that essentially practicality is superseded by emotion. Is essentially the premise. It's like I need him to say that, and once he says that, it's like.
Gonna follow that up, bud? Buddy, old pal, what nonsense for Tom Ford are we engaging in here? We're literally in the same voice message.
Okay, but so essentially, then it's like, but to me, it's like you need to go through the process of backing them into a corner through this. It's like, so in other words, he needs to show himself through his counter to this message. This message isn't meant to persuade him. This message is meant to draw him out. This is a specific message which is meant to make him show himself. You know what I mean? He's not making the argument that he's not making the argument it's not about practicality. He's just merely misinterpreting your words. He's thinking your words mean something that they're not meaning. He's thinking there's an inherent negative to what you're saying that's not there. I think just simply saying, hey, that's not it. That's not what he means. He means it in a better way than what you're actually imagining. You think there's a way you're thinking actions not doing, like he's got a false interpretation of what you need. He's thinking it in a normal ego way. You are doing something different. I think just make him realize that whatever his concerns are that's not reality. It's not going to happen. Hold on. It's like overall, his concern is that you are being arrogant and you are going to get yourself into trouble. Essentially, those two things. But I understand what you're saying, and I see that's not going to be that case. But I also see why he could see that being. Right, he doesn't misunderstand it.
Oh, we're on a call with each other over Boxer messages. That's what's happening here.
Weird.
I don't know if it does that. I don't know if it does that in the way that he does that. It sounds way. It's more like, just like it's not what you just described in my head. Sounds more like a defense, like more like an argument, right? Versus a good explanation of what's going on here. But it's like that does not solve. That does not like. There's a way to solve this and completely understand this. You completely just see the whole. What is the benefit of that specifically? So it's because Jacques is like, if me and you were doing this, I understand that. But Jacques is not he's not doing it based on that. Your version of that is like it's two different styles of argument here. He's not trying to argue. He's trying to talk about a problem. He's not trying to he is trying to solve an issue. So we should just solve the issue rather than lengthening it out.
This is so interesting. This is like still how like a lot of our arguments play out. Where you're like, but skip to the point, and I'm like, but this is a meta process that is going to be ran over and over and over again with every future argument until the underlying problem is solved. So we need to go ahead and stay on this one point, which seems like a micro issue that is not the full problem. Even though we started arguing about who gets more broccoli, the bigger issue is that you said something within that conversation about broccoli, which you've said in every other conversation, which is the thing which annoys me in every other conversation. So now we're having a meta conversation about that smaller thing. And while you think it's minor, what I'm saying is it's the pattern which causes every minor disagreement. And so therefore it is a major concept. And so it's like that same issue. It's very interesting. That same issue is like a difference in our interpretations a lot of the time. We're just like, but just jump to the point. And I'm saying, yes, but the point is going to continue to be obscured behind this retardation until we address the retardation, which is not letting them see the point that I've already made. And you're like, but just make the point clear. And I'm like, but the reason I need to make it clear is because they are specifically not seeing things from this particular perspective. They have a limited perspective, and so we need to address that limited perspective so that we don't need to run through the same loop over and over and over again. What would you say about that? Because I am fascinated in hearing your modern interpretation of that.
Am I saying that like your style just completely isn't working, or
No, you just say like you don't say it doesn't work. You just say like basically you're like this is a waste this is a waste of time. Why should we talk about this right now? Like you're going in circles about like what you would say is a quote unquote minor issue, and then what I would say is it's a minor issue that comes up a million times every week. So at that point, it's not a minor issue. It's an issue which is repeating over and over and over again, and is the underlying thorn in our sides every time we try to explain any larger concept. And so we need to go ahead and extract the thorn instead of just ignoring it.
yeah, no, I mean, I definitely agree that makes sense, especially with Jock.
Yeah.
Because overall, his concern is that you are being arrogant and you are going to get yourself into trouble. Essentially, those two things. But I understand what you're saying, and I see that's not going to be that case.
Well, by the way, that is the exact same thing with the Ryan argument. I see that's the same thing, which is there's a underlying pattern, which is what that argument became about, which was the fact that Ryan will say things like "you're a liar," and it's like that is what like yes, I am now angry and screaming at you. Yes, because you called me a liar. And if you're going to continue to do that, which you regularly do, if you say bad faith things that imply intentions that were not mine, then if this is a repeated thing, which obviously derails several conversations, then we need to address that before we talk about whatever stupid shit we're talking about in this little story. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that was the same argument we're having, where both you and Ryan were like, let's just not talk about this right now. And what I'm saying is, yeah, but if we don't talk about this right now, then we're going to end up not talking about this right now for the next 5 years. And that's the same thing I was talking about with my mother, where it's like, yes, we can keep prolonging it and talking about it quote unquote later, but later is not it's not a thing. It's not an actual existent thing. When there's a problem, you address it now, because if you don't address it now, it's going to explode in your face later.
Yeah, I ultimately agree.
I would say it is interesting how rarely you ultimately agree in the individual given situation. But that's a larger Ryan argument, and we're in Box Masters right now, so we have that another day. And it's not even just about that Ryan conversation. I do think that's in general a philosophical difference between me and you that I would be interested in exploring. That is what I was trying to get at with the Ryan conversation the other day, which was it's not about the Ryan conversation itself. It's about the thing in the Ryan. It's actually it's the same thing, which is that we got in an argument over whether or not I should have gotten in the Ryan argument. And then that is about I lost the pattern. But there was a way where the pattern I was talking about with Ryan is the same pattern I'm talking about between me and you somehow. I'm too retarded to figure out right now. Oh, yes. The reason I got into the argument about Ryan was because I wanted to display that underlying like tendency for you to side with the person who's saying like, yeah, but this is not the time. Because I wanted to explore what the actual philosophical difference is in that. Like I wonder what causes that. Even if it is a delusion on my part that you don't actually tend to side with those people, I wonder what's at least causing that. In my opinion, I do think factually that you do tend to side with the person who's saying, let's not talk about it now.
Well,
But
I think it might
would
have to
be
do.
curious.
I guess my understanding is that your strategy, your way of arguing, it is more effective to do it all at once in one single burst, and I agree with that. But I find that if I can strategically wait different periods of time and use that to my advantage. Not that I have to, but I can use it to my advantage.
I see that as just like a way that problems never end. Like you can think in your head, I'm making progress, but it's like you never actually do. Like you end up where it's like so it's like if your issue is like your mother always puts towels on your desk, and you're like, I use my desk, I don't want towels on it. It gets in the way of me turning on my lamp or some retarded shit like that, right? If like you do what you're talking about, which is like I strategically just ask her in a way which doesn't annoy her, but properly makes the point as often as possible, so that over time the towel's not on my desk. In my opinion, 99% of the time, what you're going to result in is towels on your desk 10% less often in 3 years. Where with my strategy, I am running the risk of getting kicked out of the house over starting an argument over towels and taking it to its farthest conclusion. But at the same time, in 3 years, I will not have a single towel on my desk ever again, because I'm going to go to the root of the issue, and I'm going to say directly like, this issue needs solved, and if this issue cannot be solved, then someone's getting calf kicked.
And on the other hand, I get that, and that is definitely where I lack that skill.
It is, I will say, like I've said before, with that Jacques message that we are talking about, there's definitely a yin and yang to our argumentative styles where I disagree with you and you disagree with me slightly on that style, but that is very useful because you are capable of talking to people in a way that I literally cannot, like in that Jacques conversation. Like it would have literally resulted in like a complete and total shearing of the friendship, him viewing us as the Antichrist or a solution to the issue, and likely it wouldn't have been a solution to the issue. So you in that moment did like serve as the perfect translator for the thing I could not communicate. So there is an interesting.
I mean, yeah, it's literally like
dynamic.
what we're trying to do is we're trying to get him down the middle, and your way of doing that is by pushing him to the left, and I got to push him to the right, and in doing so, we create that balance.
It's also like if you switch left and right with up and down, and you view that as like emotional height, you're like trying to take him all the way down like the calmest level, and just like talk to him like. And you know, not in a derogatory way, but like talk to him like he's a toddler. Like literally, just talk to him in like exactly the way he emotionally needs to be talked to in that moment. And then my strategy is to talk to him in the most abrasive way that like
It's like
just
one is
completely,
like trying to be the teacher, and the other one is like shape-shifting yourself into the toddler, doing an opponent toddler, and like combating him in his own language.
That is a hilarious way to view that. That is, at first I was going to disagree, and then I was going to make some example about like one is like a teacher, and the other one's like just like kicking someone in the face. Like one is like trying to teach someone, and the other one's like combat. But yeah, that is a very funny way to put it, because that is more like actually what's happening on the ego side. Is it's like I'm cloning a toddler that is on their level of communication. I'm like, okay, you want to be a toddler? Let's have a fucking toddler fight. That's very funny.
Yeah, you got to make it fair for him.
Still the calls, so there's gonna be moments of silence.
But why would that be like silent?
A different version of emotional. Whereas like pure
So
rationality,
like
it's
in other
like-
words, I'm listening to your voice message, and you were listening to my voice message in the silence in yours. You see, and then when I was
it wasn't a live dealio where we were talking at the same time.
That's what I'm saying. It was. We were talking at the same time. That's not one message. That looks like in Voxer chat we sent two different messages at two different times.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Where's your translation? More difficult. Damn, you really hit me with that the next second. But thanks for pointing me towards Peaky Blinders. The show's fucking. I'm thinking about doing someone this Wednesday, because that will be the day before 2 weeks, and it's gonna be the Wednesday, and it's gonna be a thunderstorm. So, what do you think? Sounds good. No problem with it. I gave you permission. Weird state, or like I feel really good, which is like okay, then you should do it because you need to feel really good, make it be worth the money. And it's also like yeah, but I don't know, I feel like it's a really short amount of time. 2 weeks is not really that long. In fact, you want to make it last, so complicated. So to put it in perspective, after today, after Wednesday. Okay, all right, so Wednesday, you'll have after that day, you'll have 5 left to go, and you're going to be doing it 2 weeks from now. That's 10 weeks, and I looked it up, so that was supposed to be like around June 15th or so. So that's like a pretty decent amount of time. Like that's like general UP more of the time. So I think you can of course wait longer and just wait, need more time, which is reasonable. But it seems like a pretty long time. Well, the thing is, it's just like I don't know. I feel like obviously there's the Navy's last as long as possible as far as into Florida goes, but there's also it's just like I don't know. I feel like I wait, maybe I'll find some evolution to be better to this one. But I probably will just like this Wednesday. And then probably after that, stagger out to 3 weeks or 4 weeks in between, make it last longer. It's not that if I think if I'll wait, I'll find some evolution. It's that. I don't know. I guess I feel like I haven't integrated my last one fully. It really just does not feel like it's been that long. Like I don't feel like I've geared up for another experience. But also, I guess I don't really want to gear up for this one. I think this one needs to just sort of be like, sure, it happened. I mean, just float into it, like preparing or like no journey, like none of that. Just like simply float into it. So it could be like questions I'm trying to answer. Like, what should be? How often should I do it? And see if you can get any insights on that. This time I definitely want to have a list of things to chew on.
It's very, very funny that like all of the advice given in the psychedelic communities is like when you go in, you need to have like an intention. You need to be like very deliberate about what you want to think about. And like I'm sure for normal people that's true, but like I've realized over the past year that like that is the exact fucking opposite of what I want to do. The last thing in the goddamn world I want to do with the Sub 1 trip is fucking think about like what you have to do is get this done. Like you have to figure out what 2 + 2 is by the end of the experience, because then what you're setting yourself up for is just an entire experience going 2 +
Well, I think what most people's intentions are a lot more subtle and simple than
Vague.
ours. Like, we have to
Yeah.
solve the entire universe really quickly, please.
Or like not even we have to solve the entire universe. We're like, what is the correlation between time and identification in relation to the infinite expanse? So like from a subjective perspective, obviously time unfolds linearly, but from an objective perspective, that linearity would just be like frames in a video, and they could all be viewed at the exact same time. So it's like that. Like that's the kind of thing. Hey, mother, what exactly are you doing?
I put in a load of laundry.
Do you need to be on the phone right beside me while you do that? Like that's never happened before. Like even on my end, like that, my mother has never been on the phone right beside me ever before until we're on a call recording. Like it just doesn't happen. That's funny. But anyways, whatever we were talking about, you know what it was? Something. Did you hear that the singer of Big Black Betty Van Blam died?
The whole band is taken out.
Betcha. I remember saying that all the time in the first Fish Tank season. So,
I mean, you of course might have some memory issues with that.
mother, what on earth are you doing? I'm recording something. You're not. You're yapping. What the fuck were we just talking about? Jesus Christ. Someone's about to get calf kicked.
Oh, you were last playing a message.
No, I was about to say something. Who cares? Whatever. I say, want to call tonight. This is truly the best framework we've ever found. Yay or nay? You say, nay for today. Let's call tomorrow. I say.
It was an idea I had. You know, we're on phone.